Good evening, everyone. Good evening to those who are here with us and those who are listening to us or who will be listening to us on our YouTube channel. Welcome. Welcome to the Conscientism class. Today is the 13th of June, 2024. So we are now halfway through the year 2024. So we'd like to welcome you all. As usual, we are going to be reading and discussing the philosophy and ideology of conscientism. This is the Pan-African philosophy and ideology that has been bequeathed to us by our parents and great-grandparents, parents, grandparents, great-grandparents who fought for the liberation, unification, and the development of Africa. So welcome. As usual, we shall read the text, and then once we've read, we shall then go around and ask everyone to share their thinking. We don't ask people to share their views, because views differ from where you are standing. If you're in a helicopter, what you see is different from someone who is on the ground. And even on the ground, it depends on whether you're on a story building or whether you are at street level. So we don't ask people for their views. We don't ask them for what they feel. We normally ask them what they think, because thinking for us is the key here. Thinking is what is crucial in the unification of Africa. People are not thinking, and we need people to think and think. So this is a thinking group. This is a class where we come and we think freely, and no one apologizes for their thinking. You don't have to apologize. You just share your thinking. So we all read, we take it in turns to read, and anyone can be called upon to read. And then after reading, we all share our thinking. So welcome, everyone. On the screen, I believe, is what we are reading today, the highlighted version. Brother Pigeon, are we reading from the Second Revolution?
Yes.
We are. Okay.
Yes, that's correct, from the Fourth Revolution.
Sorry?
We are reading from the Fourth Revolution, going to the Second Revolution.
Okay, but we can't see the first revolution on the screen. So we can only see the second revolution on the screen.
Oh, really? Sorry for that.
That's correct. If you want to scroll up, yeah, that's that.
You can't still see the First Revolution?
Yeah, you've gone too far. You can come down slightly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines. One more, and I think that should be okay. One more click, and I think we should be okay. Yeah, I think we can see the whole screen now. Yeah, that's fine. We can now see. So, right. I think we've read, if I'm right, we have read the first paragraph, which says Thales, first revolution, therefore knocked the bottom out of the theocratic and crypto. If we haven't, I am reading it. I am reading it then.
Okay.
Thales first revolution, therefore, knocked the bottom out of the theocratic and crypto-theocratic manifestations of Greek society. In destroying the gods as explanatory devices, he neutralized them and undermined the social effectiveness of the aristocratic priesthood. The second revolution consisted in his contention that the unity of nature consisted not in its being, but in its materiality. His choice of one substance for his monism had its root in mercantilism. Sorry, Brother Pigeon is gone off. He did say his internet was unstable. Give me a few minutes to upload the page. Yeah, thank you. Sorry if you've just joined us. We are reading Conscientism. The book has just disappeared because of unstable internet. So we are working on it so we can put it back on the screen so we can all see what it is we are reading. So apologies.
Sorry for that.
Give us a few minutes. Why do you have to apologize? The internet is not your fault. Right, so I'm just looking for
it's page 34.
Yes. Now I want to put it on the screen. Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. So yeah. Give me a few more seconds and we should be there. Right. So let me highlight it before I show it on the screen.
Let me also share the text in the chat.
Yes, you may. I'm almost there. So I'm not going to share it. I'm just about to do that. Give me a few minutes and you should be on your screen now or in the next few seconds. Confirm if you can see it, please. Thank you.
Yes, brother, I can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Thank you very much. Should I enlarge it or is it fine as it is?
You could enlarge it, please.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it's a little bit bigger, please. Yeah. Again.
Is that okay now?
That's a bit better. Yeah, it's a bit better.
Okay.
Thanks. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you. Right. So I was reading, I got to mercantilism. So let me start from the second revolution again. So the second revolution consisted in his contention that the unity of nature consisted not in its being, but in its materiality. His choice of one substance for his monism had its root in mercantilism. His choice, in the belief that all goods were exchangeable in terms of a common denominator. Water, the common denominator which Thales chose, fittingly reflected the Ionian dependence on its navy for its mercantilism. The growth of the navy being crucial for Ionia's Mediterranean trade. So that is the reading. If we would like, we somebody else can read again later if that helps. But that's the reading basically, and we share our thinking. Just so you know, my internet sometimes is also unstable. So if it does go off, please bear with us whilst we reload. Right, so let's share our thinking. Let's start with our resident physicist, Brother Carrington, if that's okay with Brother Carrington. So yes. For those who don't know, Brother Carrington is our resident physicist. What it means is that where we come across physical ideas that are the basis of the discipline physics, he will take the lead in explaining the theory for our benefit. And the reason that is important is because conscientism is partly rooted in physics. The philosophy and ideology of conscientism has its roots, if you like, in scientific knowledge. And that is why it is just basically a remarkable philosophy. Because what it means is that as science develops, our philosophy always catches up. So we are never behind. It's just extraordinary. So, and so we are fortunate to have Brother Carrington with us, who, when we need the physics, just amazingly explains it to us in his confident and persuasive voice. So, Brother Carrington, share with us your thinking on the paragraph we just read.
Thank you very much, Brother Christian. I think you have sold me a little bit too hard. Yeah, I'll try my best. You remind me of what is it? Osu Street in Ghana. The sellers of Kente in Ghana.
Sister knows all about Osu.
They're excellent salesmen and women, right? Yeah. So yes, my background is in physics, but we are in a philosophy section. So I would also love to hear people's views. I'm learning a lot from how people interpret philosophy, which I have very constrained background in. So I'd be happy also to hear people's views, and I've been learning a lot from the previous study groups. I would advise you, if you're a first-time joiner of this group, please do join. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn from the book and the discussions that we have. So I'll break down my discussion into the 2 points related to the 2 paragraphs. In the first paragraph, remember we had talked of a social order constructed on the basis of religion. And there was a reason for constructing this social order on the basis of religion, right? The promotion of Greek clan cults into national or city-state religions because of the growth of population and the settling in of various Greek and the formation of various Greek towns and Greek city-states. And we sort of understood that because of the location of Greece on the Mediterranean, right, it is able to trade with a very, very young sort of Roman settlement in Italy, but able to trade massively with Egypt. So trade not only in goods, as you all know, trade in goods is followed by trade in ideas. So we have this mercantilist class that is not only accumulating power, we have this mercantilist class that is accumulating resources and ideas. And therefore, yes.
Explain, not everyone understands what mercantilism is, so.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Mercantile comes from the idea merchant, and a merchant is a trader, right? Anybody who buys and sells goods. an often looked down upon class in society, especially in the medieval period and in the ancient classical periods. But because of this trade, because of this exposure to other civilizations and other societies, traders actually end up accumulating a lot of social, political, and economic power. So Anaximander is one such person. Because of this, he is able to understand a lot about Greek society. He himself, no, Thales, he himself becomes very, very wealthy out of speculation and is able to start thinking about things that are explained of social order. Aspects of social order explained using religion and the gods could also be explained using market forces, could also be explained using natural forces. And this replacement of the use of religion and theology as explanation for social occurrences is the radical thing Thales is doing in the first paragraph. So, of course, this will be followed, I think later on in the book I haven't read, by what replaces the destruction of social order by religion. The second paragraph talks about a more philosophical, less sociological revolution. You can call it a conceptual revolution in how you organize ideas. So this is a little bit more up my sphere because he is trying to do science here. It is often simpler in science to try and describe everything in terms of one thing. So if you want to understand, for example, the economy, right? Marxists would have you try understand it according to the labor theory of value. If you want to understand the universe, there's one starting point, maybe energy. Or if you're a materialist, as Brother Christian has talked about, you will stand from the point of view of matter, and energy being a property of matter, and everything else being a property of configurations of matter. So it is a way of explaining the world, a way of understanding the world better than you do, i.e. a model. So this is what Thales is advancing here and saying that the universe is made of one thing, which is very radical, to be honest. It is very radical. Remember that this is the period of polytheism. People are worshipping multiple gods. Even Africa will consistently worship multiple gods, multiple forms of spirits. So it is a radical idea to say that everything comes from one thing. It is just a radical idea. And it has erupted in various civilizations at the same time. For example, in Egypt, there was a monotheistic religion in Egypt. But nonetheless, in Greece, Thales begins advancing this idea. And it starts, of course, once you say such a thing, you ask yourself, what is the basis now? What is the brick that I'll use to build these various forms of houses that I call matter? And his choice is water. Of course, water has very good properties. It is fluid. You could see solid water in ice, etc. So you can sort of understand how water can be used to construct everything, at least naively. And also, Osagyefo points out that because of this mercantilist class who have derived their power out of the ocean, out of the Mediterranean Sea, because of trade with Egypt and other civilizations and societies, they are going to understand instinctively the importance of water to their power. And anything that is important to your power is important to your thinking. And this, the Osagyefo uses to sort of explain that is why this philosopher used water as a basis. Of course, there are other reasons. You can see that water can be used to make wine, juices. Blood can be understood as a form of water. And then you can argue that way, that the universe comes from water. But this is the explanation Osagyefo advances. Thank you.
Brother Carrington, as always, thank you so much for sharing your thinking. So what I normally do is, or we normally do, is we take both voices. So the voice of a man followed by the voice of a woman. So we have balance. So let me ask Sister Ida, please. We have 3 ladies. That's amazing. Wonderful. Brother Pigeon, I haven't seen Sister Pamela or Brother Joseph. I hope that the registration is not causing problems for them. If you could just cross-check with them, if it's possible. I know your internet is limited, but if you can just cross-check with Brother Joseph and Pamela, just to make sure that they are not having any challenges, that would be great. Thank you. So, Sister Ida, can you share your thinking with us?
I love how Brother Carrington can always expand and expand. It's lovely. But my thinking is that his first revolution is that he managed to get rid of or make a dent in the priesthood system, which put the priesthood at the top of everything. And so that's what I see as his first revolution. His second revolution is about that you can exchange anything for something for anything, or you can exchange, it doesn't necessarily have to be water, but you could make an exchange system to get some form of materialism. Yeah.
The term you're looking for is a medium of exchange.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay, right. That you can find a medium of exchange in buying and selling somehow, so long as it's agreed with the other person. He chose water because if you're on a boat and you're going to be away from land for a long time, the most important thing would be water, followed by food, maybe. And he uses water because he's also interested in expanding the Navy, so that things could be maybe sold further away from just the center, is how I look at it. So I think it shows that he was prepared to challenge things. He was prepared to challenge what normally would be was accepted, and in challenging it, a mercantile, a material buying and selling class came about. So that's how I see this, what this is saying. And it went around the Mediterranean, yeah, in trading. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Sister Ida, for sharing your thinking with us. Can I ask everyone a question? And the question is, why is Thales's, or why is the revolution of Thales important? Why is it important? Why? Why is it important for us to know about this? But the more important question I want to ask us is, where do ideas come from? What is the source of ideas? I mean, the ideas in our head, where did they come from? So that's a question to all of us whilst we share our thinking. So we've heard from.
Do you want me to answer that?
If you would like to.
Well, I don't know where ideas come from as such, but when they come, they often have a force behind them that gets people actually.
But Sister, that's my question. Where does it come from? Where do you think?
I can only tell you about the force that comes with ideas, that they don't stay static. They become a motion that continues to build.
Yeah. So can I ask then, Thales's revolution that you've just discussed, the idea that the common denominator or the medium of exchange should be water. Where did that idea come from? Where do you think it came from?
I think that water is something that everyday people need. You have to have water to live. If you don't get it, you deteriorate in different ways. So I think it seemed to be.
But there was water when the priests were in charge. It's not as if water just came. So when the priests were in charge and were praying for rain, there was water. Yeah. So my question to you is, or to all of us, while share your thinking, that's okay, is where did Thales get the idea that the common denominator must now be water? Considering that it was water when the aristocratic priesthood were in charge.
Yeah, but I think the difference is that because he could see that the aristocratic priesthood were more about themselves, he was trying to get other people, everybody, to be included in that they too could also do things. It's not just the priests. I think that to me would be the answer, that he saw that everybody had the ability to do things. And even if it was a buying and selling class, whatever they had to sell.
Yeah, but you're not answering my question, Sister Ida. But the question is,
where did it come from? Okay.
Where did the idea that water is a common denominator, where did that come from? That is a question.
Okay. I'll leave that to someone else. Then
by the way, it's for all of us, but you've shared a lot, so thank you very much for sharing your thinking. Thanks for sharing your thinking. Right, the next person that would speak would be, so we've had we've had one brother, one sister. So now let's hear from brother Pigeon, please.
Thank you. The first time I came across these two either philosophy ideologies in terms of materialism and idealism actually was when we were studying the first chapter on the philosophy in retrospect. And the key question was what there is and how what there is. And the question of what the universe is, or our cosmic raw material is made up of, then Thales talked of water, and Berkeley talked of spirits and ideas. And now we are coming to chapter 2. You asked this question, which never came across in chapter 1, but I've also never thought of it. Why did he say water? Then water was considered as matter. But I think I'm not a physician. I'm an historian a bit. But I think that it's because water can assume various forms. From my thinking, water can be in solid, in liquid, or in vapor form. And therefore, when you talk of the dialectical or categorical conversion, and we say that matter become the primary reality and spirits become derivatives from matter, then basically the clear example that can have derivatives is water. Water can change form to be a vapor.
Brother Pigeon, but there was water when the aristocratic priesthood were in charge. In fact, water came from the sky as the priests were praying. So the water is not new. But my question is, that question is to all of us. But I think the more general question is, where do ideas come from? I think that's really the central question. It may be, Brother Pigeon, it may be a good idea for you to share your thinking on the paragraph we've read first. This was just a question for you to all consider. Yeah. So address the paragraph that we've read, and then you can move on to that if you want. Yeah.
Now, when it talks,
so share your thinking on the paragraph we've read.
Now, you see, from this paragraph, Thales comes from a materialist position, not from idealist position. And the idealist position actually takes consideration of the gods, the spirits, and the so-called as being the aspect or elements of life. And there's somewhere where we came across where Thales talked of how he tested. I don't know, it was using some phrase in a market, selling something like that. Then people either came in to either buy or something like that. But basically is that Thales tried to prove, because at the beginning there were two revolutions. and I don't know if it's very clear here, but if I can remember it, one, this second one saying the second revolution consisted on Thales explaining universe consisting not in its being but in its materiality. But the first revolution of Thales said that Thales tried to explain universe in terms of nature. So I think that was the first aspect. So it could be able to clearly explain that everything that happens in our universe or in our surrounding or in our society is natural. It's based on nature, with its basic law being matter. While the idealist here try to explain and try to actually take that, what they call divine power, like the priesthood, to actually dictate the issues of the society. We Thales wanted to disapprove that they do not have any divine power, neither do the gods are actually responsible of anything that goes on in this universe. Rather, the universe is a natural universe, and everything in this universe can be explained in terms of nature. And that's the first aspect where he talks of the first revolution, because the first revolution of Thales was to explain universe in terms of nature. Now, the second chapter here, where he talks of the second revolution consisted in the contention of unity of the nature consisting not in its being, but in materiality. That in order for the nature of the universe to be as it is, the unity of materials or matter, which is its primary reality, must work in harmony, because there is dialectics and opposing sides within the process, but they must attain harmony or unity in order for it to actually purpose or work properly. Like in this universe, if the people do every forces, there are people who either destroy the universe by either cutting down trees and the rest. There are people who try to either plant trees and the rest. There are people who take over or exploit our mineral. There are people who use their minerals in any other way. So everything that happens in the universe, even in personal life, there are people who either put in their life things or substances that might destroy their life or kill their life, but there are people who actually also protect their life by taking things that can help them. So if there's that dialectics that always exists, even in a person, even in a mind, even in the society, even in the whole universe, or even in a country, for it to purpose or work properly, there must be unity of the matter or the materiality in order to attain whatever is required. So that's what I'm understanding from this. Then lastly, on the origin of even those ideas, I think the ideas come from mind, and mind comes from the brain, because the process of saying minding, actually the brain is what does that. So there's a physical organ of the body, so-called the brain, that then can do the minding, that then can bring you the idea. So it must come from the brain. Without the brain, I don't think if any, like an air or wind can think. It must be from a physical body, that then that physical or matter can then actually have space to think, and therefore I think minding or ideas of thinking or spirits, just the same way water can move in various categories.
But if you're saying that the ideas come from the mind, are you saying mind is the source of the ideas? Because the question was, where did the ideas in the mind, where did they come from? I mean, that is a question.
From the brain, through the nerves.
Yeah, how did they get into the brain?
Through
Where
the
did the
nervous
ideas
systems.
come from to enter the brain? I think that's a question.
Thank you. I will not answer that. Let me skip that now.
Yeah, let's hear from. I was going. Yes, but currently you want to come in.
I think let people interpret, and then we'll come back to this. It's a very interesting thing to think about. But yes, I have my own wrong views probably, but I'd like to discuss.
You never know; they might be right. So the first paragraph. So we are sharing our thinking on the two paragraphs we've read. Another question is, if indeed Thales's first revolution knocked the bottom out of the theocratic and crypto-theocratic manifestations of Greek society, so that the gods were not explanatory devices, why is it that even today people still use God to explain everything. Brother, how are you? It's by God's grace. So really, yeah, okay. So sister, how are you? Oh, I can see you. You have a new house. Yes. God did it. God is so powerful. Oh, my God is good. So just examples. People are still using God to explain life and their lives. And yet we are told that Thales kind of, if you like, destroyed this kind of explanation in Greek society in fact, over 2,000 years ago. And yet, fast forward, we are still here doing exactly the same thing that they were doing at the time. Is that because we have theocratic, aristocratic priesthoods over us? Is that because we have, if you like, part of those who govern our society are an aristocratic priesthood, whether they are Catholics or Baptists or Pentecostals? They are still one of those groups that are kind of running our societies. It's just a question. We are still sharing our thinking. Sister Shireen has gone. I was going to call her next, but she's gone. So I'll ask Sister Joan to share her thinking on the paragraph. Thank you.
So my thought is I've combined them all. I think to destroy a society, you have to find the foundation and then destroy it. So here, nature, I think nature is the foundation. So when you remove nature, then you're able to destroy it. And people say water is God because we come from water. Water sustains life. So I think that's why he chose water. Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sister Joan has shared her thinking. Let's now go to Brother DJ, Mr. P. Thank you.
Yes, my brother. Good evening. Good evening.
Yes. Brother DJ, good to have you
Yeah.
back. I know
Yeah, I
you've
was
been
just about to
away
say it's
for a
good to
while.
be
Yeah.
back. Yeah, I was a bit under the weather the last few weeks, and
Yeah.
this weather we've got right now is really not. It's raining outside. Last night, it was 7 degrees in Luton. I've got my heating on right now, and I'm still looking for the sun. So
Wow.
I'm a bit miserable right now. I'm really looking to get a ticket on and fly to West Africa as soon as I can, because I can't take this sun. I've been waiting nearly a year for the sun, and it still hasn't come yet.
Still hasn't come yet. So sorry about that.
Yeah, it's
Anyway,
all right.
but
Yeah,
you are here with us. Yes.
yeah, that's the main thing.
So yeah, what is your thinking?
Okay. The jury is still actually out, but what I can share with you what I've got so far, in that Thales, back then it was the higher priests and such like that were in charge, and everybody bowed down to, etc., etc. But Thales, a thinking man, he actually, as it says, put them out of the way, completely. And this whole thing about the gods, he put that whole story there to bed. Now, why he chose water? Excuse me. Why did he choose water? Well, water is life, as Joan said. Water is life. And sorry, let me quieten this phone. It's very busy at the moment. Whoops. Yeah, water is life, and
So let me reshare the page. Sorry.
yeah.
Sorry about that. I did say
That's
that.
all right.
My own
It's okay.
internet can be unstable sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes, please carry on.
Okay. Yeah, water. What he clearly understood how powerful water is in that it's life. Also, the very ships that the traders are going up and down on are sitting on water, as well as the amazing powers that water has in that it can change form from solid to liquid to gas. And the great thing about water, especially when in liquid form, it takes whatever shape of the container it's in. So he probably saw, or could have seen at that time, water as a mystical, amazing substance. That's my limited thinking on the paragraphs. And hello.
But if according to the first paragraph, the first revolution, he got rid of crypto-theocratic explanations, why do you think he would see water in a mystical way? If in the first revolution he was trying to get rid of that.
Well, mystical in the sense that maybe they didn't actually understand how water worked and what it was. Maybe they didn't fully understand. So when I say mystical, I meant mystical in terms of mysterious, not so much esoteric.
But that is my question to you. But that's my question to you. Why, you see, this then goes to the question, why did Thales see water as the basis of nature? I mean, the answer is in paragraph 2, by the way. It's right there in front of us. You know, Brother Carrington, I think, also alluded to it. It's right there in paragraph 2, in the second revolution. Yeah. So that's why I asked the question. So that we can
lost the page. We seem to have lost the writing.
No, it's there. I can see it.
It
was a comment. It was.
Yes, I've reloaded it.
It was a comment.
Can you see it?
Not yet. No.
Oh, well, I can. I'm looking at it. It's there.
Yeah.
It's been on the screen for about a minute at least.
Yeah, I mean, it did go off, but then I reloaded it. Let me do it again, just in case. So I'm going to reshare again. Hopefully that will help, Sister Ida. So here again, I'm resharing it again.
Yeah, I can see that you've reshared or resharing. You started to share your screen.
Can everybody else see, or is it just Sister Ida?
No, it's not up yet. It's not up yet. It's loading. It's loading.
It's loading, right? Okay.
Yeah. Just like summer, still loading.
Yeah, my internet is very, very low. Wait, yes, Brother DJ, Mr. P, you were saying.
Yeah, and it also said in the second paragraph, the reason why, or what I understand is that the water was a common denominator, was that they depended on water for their trading. They were up and down the place in ships, as I said earlier on. Okay, it's on the screen now. I can see it on the screen.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's there. They used water. Not only was water life, but it was, they couldn't get anywhere, or they couldn't sail up and down without water. So water was key. And again, when you look at it, it's materialism. You're not thinking about. Sorry.
That's very. So that is the case. What's what I'm saying?
Sorry, brother, you're breaking up. Go again.
I'm saying, if that is the case, like you just said, is water mysterious? From what you've just said.
To me, no, it's not, because we have a scientific explanation for it. But back then, maybe they didn't. Maybe they didn't have a scientific explanation.
But you have just said something about what they use the water for.
Yeah. Well, this is something to them they probably couldn't explain. I mean, they get this stuff coming out of the sky. It's called water. They assumed that, and people still today assume that the oceans were filled by rainwater, which I don't believe. That the amount of water that's on the planet couldn't have come from rain. Even though it's rained for millions of years or whatever, I don't think there'd be enough rain to fill up the oceans. So they probably didn't understand that at the time.
Yeah, but the question is, why did Thales choose water?
Well, one, it was a common denominator. Two, is materialism. It's something they didn't have to imagine or think about the spook god or whatever up in the sky. It's something that they had tangible, that was real, that they could see in their hands, and they found it had multiple uses. It was wherever life was, there was water. They were able to
But
sail up and down.
very good. But DJ Mr. P, what did the water do for the society in which Thales was? What was the significance
Sorry,
of
say that, you
water
broke
for
up.
them?
Say that again. What did what?
What was the significance of water for Thales's society at the time? What was the importance of water?
Well, they all needed it. I suppose they depended on it.
But the answer is in the second paragraph. I keep saying. All right, we'll come back to you. Think
Common
about
denominator. Yeah, I will.
Let's go to Brother Coco.
Oh, hold on. I wanted to come back to your question, brother, about
Oh,
ideas.
okay. And then we'll go
Yeah.
to Brother Coco. Yeah, go on. Where
Yeah, I
do
wanted to
ideas come
respond.
from? Yes.
Yeah, I wanted to respond to that on my from the short little time I've been on this planet. My limited thinking on this whole thing about ideas. I think that, or we all know that as human beings, we're not just physical. We're basically, there are three parts to every human being. You've got the physical, or the body, you've got the mind, and you've got the soul or the spirit. And I believe, rightly or wrongly, that ideas are spiritual. Certain people are able to connect on a different plane, a different level. And I know in terms of conscientism, we're not into the religious aspect of things. And I'm not even talking about religion, I'm talking about spirituality here. So I think a lot of ideas are spiritual. I mean, I used to think that ideas were down purely to the mind, how highly developed your mind is, and how educated you are. But I threw that out the window a few years back, because you've got people that are not educated, may not have ever been to school, and they have brilliant ideas. Okay, so how do you explain that? So I think, for me, the only explanation regards where do ideas come from, I'd say that they're spiritual. If that part of your brain or your mind is developed enough, you're able to connect and link on another level or plane, and those ideas are downloaded or planted. And if you're receptive to that, you'll pick up on it and take it from there. Because again, when I look at musicians, when I look at music and musicians, where do musical ideas come from? These people haven't gone to college or school or university to develop their craft as a musician. It's something that they do. So where do these fantastic, brilliant musical ideas from how many centuries ago that people are still playing now, where do they come from? How are they developed? So the only answer I've got, as I said, rightly or wrongly, is I believe that's where we begin to tap into our spiritual side on a different level. So that's my response to your question. Whether or not it's a proper answer, I don't know, but that's my response.
And if that is where ideas come from, where does spirit come from?
Yeah, good question. We are all connected, I believe, on a spiritual level, somehow, some way. Why is it that you can think about somebody and then seconds later they call you? How does that happen? How? I mean, that happens to me an awful lot. All right. So, and that question has been in my mind for a very, very long time. I used to think it was, it only happened with girlfriends and stuff. Yeah. But I've realized it happens with a lot of other people. When I think about somebody, or I might be doing what I'm doing, I might be working, I might be editing, I might be even doing a radio show, and my mind passes on somebody, and within seconds, half a minute or so, that person will call me. I want an answer to that. I don't know how that works, but it works. It happens to, I don't know if it happens to you. It's been happening to me since childhood.
So the reason I ask you is, if you're saying that ideas come from the spirit or the spiritual, by the way, we are
Sorry, brother, you're breaking up again. I'm not hearing you. You're chopping. Nah. I just heard your first sentence about if ideas come from spiritual, and that was it. It broke up, and now you're frozen.
Brother Kwame is a bit frozen, so I think he will be able to come in when he's able or when his network is stable. Brother Kwame, work on your network a bit.
Yeah, sort your network out, Kwame. Fix up your network,
Yes.
man. What's wrong with you?
Yes. So let's go. Let's go to Brother Coco.
Ah,
No,
Coco.
Okay. Yeah,
Brother Kwame.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
Brother Coco can speak.
I'll step in a bit when you're a bit frozen. Brother Coco.
Revolutionary greetings, comrades.
Yes,
Greetings,
comrade.
I'm happy to be with you tonight. It's been a while, and so also happy to hear my brother, DJ Mr. P.
Hey,
defending the space. All right, and you are
It's been a while. We missed you. Welcome.
Yeah, I miss you guys too. I miss you guys.
Yeah, Brother Kwame. So sorry for your network, but I hope you come back. So the question that Brother Kwame was asking you, the DJ Mr. P, is based on, there's a word there which is called mercantilism. Mercantilism. If you take your dictionary and Google what mercantilism means,
Is that from mercantile, or as in selling, trading?
Exactly.
Right.
So
Yeah.
mercantilism, they say, is a belief. You understand? It moves from just a trade now into a belief in the benefits of profitable trading. So if you think about Greece, where it stood or where it still stands today, it's surrounded by lots and lots of water. And most of their business people will benefited from trading a lot along the water, using the water for trade. So this is where they took a material, a matter, and turned that matter to their benefits and made the best out of water. So they started trading, opening opportunities where they didn't exist. And this is how he took that idea that we have this material here, which is water, and we benefited from water, and nothing to do with God.
Right.
It's to do with the nature, which nature is here, it exists in this material form. And with this material form, we have been able to mold it and use it for our own benefits. So that is how he managed to create that second revolution, to topple the aristocratic priests who were basing their theocracy on the existence of gods, the gods who say, don't do this, do that, don't do that. Okay, so this is number one. Number two is this other one which they called, there's a word there which is called monism. I just searched that, and is being contrasted with another one called dualism. And in dualism, they say there are two different things. So body and spirit can exist in different forms, for instance, or mind and body can exist in duality. So there's one, there are two different things. But monism, which
is one
I
only
think
for mono,
fails, is one and only. So they say it's just different manifestations of the same thing, different manifestations of the same thing. So I think here Dr. Nkuma is starting to show us how we transition from the spirits, how we transition from that aristocracy, which was sort of dictatorship it was dictatorial, depended on a few aristocracy which control the whole of Greece based on the unknown. But now they know it. They know it. They can see water. They know water is matter, and they can do lots and lots of out of water. And I don't know how far back they had known that water can do all of these things, because water can be transformed into rain. Water can be transformed into clouds. Water can be transformed into mist. Water can be ice. It's still the same matter, but in different shapes, depending on where it is. That's what I just wanted to contribute for tonight. I hope that helps.
Okay.
Oh,
Thank you,
definitely.
Brother
Thank you.
Brother Coco, you're bringing something that is actually making a deeper sense a bit that you have to ponder around as we move along. Because you see, Nkrumah is trying to say that spirits and matter are one. Just that spirit is in a different category of matter. You see?
Okay.
That's what he's trying to bring. Even ideas. He actually claims idea is same as matter, but in a different category. It comes from a primary to conversion. The same way you say water can be vapor, liquid, whatever it can go to. See?
Absolutely.
That's now what you call monoism, which means in one body. So people tend to think that spirits and matter or materialists, both materialists and spiritualists, those who are idealists, tend to have the differences in terms of these thinkings. But that's what you're trying to bring on monoism, on that these things are one, reminds me of what Brother Carrington brought on the theory of relativity, that they try to combine time and space to be one. Brother Carrington, you can remind us on that. What was it? Because I'm getting what Brother Coco is trying to raise here on aspect of monoism, and that monoism, if you go deeper a bit to try to examine the unity, I think there have been two things here that are becoming up. I'm just trying to expound this thinking a bit. But this aspect of monoism is becoming very important here. Brother Kwame, while we are away, Brother Carrington, Brother Coco tried to explain also the aspect of mercantilism and how the society, a Ionian community or society, had to get the idea of how water was becoming part of their life and how they speak that from them. Maybe you can remind you can do a recap a bit, because that question you asked well, he needed to be here to hear his answer, which I concur with.
Is Coco able to summarize for me?
Yes,
So,
you can, Brother Coco.
Yes. So what I said to DJ Mr. P is that for mercantilism or mercantile trade, we build a belief, or they build a belief, that there are benefits of profitable trading. And Greece, with Greece being where it is, it benefited from plentiful of water. And they took that water and used it to their own benefit by opening trade routes and using lots of ships and opening trade with different other countries, different other places that they didn't even know existed. And that way they managed to transition from a belief in the unknown into something that they know actually exists, which is material. And then I moved from there and said, for monoism, we know that there are different manifestations, but of the same thing. And in this case, we talked about water. We said water can be vapor, water can be ice, water can be clouds, water takes different forms. And it's just that you can see it's something you can explain. That way you are able to explain rain. Where does rain come from? Before that, we can imagine people were saying God will make the rain fall down, or the gods will wait until all of you guys have stopped sinning, and then he can bring water down, he can bring rain down. But with water, which was then plentiful in Greece, they were able to see its benefits, and that is the matter.
Yeah, thank you. So don't go. So based on what you've said, then I think you have got us closer to where we want to be in terms of thinking. which is that the chapter we are reading is the relationship between philosophy and society. So based on what you said then, how do you see the relationship between the philosophy that Thales was proposing in his two revolutions and the society in which he lived? I'm just rephrasing everything you've said in a way. So what would you say, therefore, about the relationship between the social milieu, which is trade, as you've said, and the philosophy that arose? What would you say about that?
So what he managed to do here is to convince people that, look, you have this matter here, you have this material, and by taking this material and changing its form, you are able to build mercantile or mercantilism out of it. You're able to benefit from it. And that way, it's easy to see how you sort of benefit. You can say A plus B is equal to C in this case, because you know where water is and you know what water, I mean, you know how you can convert water to benefit the whole society. Because with opening of those trade routes, it meant their society boomed. All of a sudden, it boomed. They just didn't depend on olive oils, for instance, that which are grown a lot in that area of Greece. They were all other stuff that came from places that they didn't know, because they managed to use water to their benefits.
No, thank you. Are we all on the same page? Are we all understanding what we are discussing? So,
yep.
So in a way, what we are asking is, if you like, so what is the source of wealth? If you were in Greek society, what to you is the source of wealth? The answer, Brother Cole, you would say is, based on what you said, the source of
the ability to trade.
The ability to trade.
Yes.
Now, if you are in an agricultural society, what is the source of wealth?
The ability to grow and sell crops.
Yeah. So so the land is a source of wealth.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a society where your wealth is generated through growing crops. But if you are a mercantile nation, a nation surrounded by water, and you are trading, then your source of wealth is not about the land, but
the sea.
The sea.
Mm. Or water, yeah.
Now, again on the same subject, what did Adam Smith say? Well, I think you might have an answer to this because we discussed it. What did Adam Smith say is the source of wealth? Now, he wrote his book, The Wealth of Nations, in 1776. What did Adam Smith say is the source of wealth? Think about it. Sister Ida had a hand up, so let's hear her.
I think that's something that Brother Coco said, which he hasn't re-mentioned. He was talking about ideas as well, and he mentioned the word monotheism as single, and then he used another.
He said that the word is monism.
But the monism isn't that money?
Yeah, there's no T. Monism. There's no T. It's monoism.
It's monism.
Monoism, but isn't that
monism,
single?
Monism.
Okay, then maybe you need to say what is monism then.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on and say what you were saying. Yes.
Because what I heard that I thought, oh, very interesting is he made he linked it with ideas between, somebody might remember what he actually said, between single.
He can remind you.
Yes, and I'm hoping that he will remind him so he can bring it back out. He was single ideas and then dual ideas, and he linked the thought about where does ideas come from, and he linked it with changes in almost changes in forms, different, whether water was solid, liquid, etc. So maybe, Brother Coco, you could repeat what I thought I heard you say.
Yes. What did you hear?
On the system?
Yeah,
I've
no.
just said
What I said was monism is being contrasted with dualism or duality, and in duality, they say there are different bits. Body and spirit are different, or body and mind are different. Whereas in monism, it's accepted that they are just one and is different manifestations of the same thing. And then that's when we went into the discussion on water taking different shapes, but it's still water.
Yeah. But I think that in what you had said about different manifestations, I think you'd also linked it with ideas having different manifestations. Did you not link that?
Yes, no, but the Pigman went ahead to elaborate more on that. But as he rightly said, he said, spirits, matter, ideas, all of these things, they are just different manifestations of the same thing. So materialism and idealism, you could argue, they come from the same source.
And hence ideas.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sister Ida, what do you mean by enhanced ideas?
And hence ideas come from the same source, was what I got that they were saying.
Yes.
That in the same way that there are different manifestations, ideas have different manifestations.
And yet come from the same source, which is matter. Is that your understanding?
Fine, okay, that would do.
No, I'm asking, was that your understanding?
My understanding was that it was the same sort of thing. Whether it was a science form in that things change, the ideas also come from the same sort of form and change. And
but what is its source? What is the source of the idea?
Well, I expect philosophically it'll be some sort of material that can change. I'm sure Brother Carrington would have an answer for what it is scientifically. Maybe it's hold on. It's what is it that changes but doesn't destroy in science? Things change. It's
the atom.
No.
Yeah.
Well, that's
the atom.
Atoms are different. No, there is something else that it will change in science. I think it begins with
energy can be changed.
Enzymes will change forms of matter, but they won't be destroyed. Yes, the same sort of thing. Atoms, energy, whatever. Sorry.
It's not whatever. Be more precise, Sister Ida.
I'll leave it to the scientists to be more precise. I remember bits of it, and then it goes.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
It becomes different manifestations.
Yes, Brother Pigeon.
Yeah, let's get in touch maybe later. I'll join later. Thank you.
Okay. Thank
you. So you just share.
If my internet goes, that's it. So just so you know, the co-hosts, you'll have to take over, yeah, until I reach him, because Brother Pigeon has gone as far as his internet can go.
Maybe Brother Carrington can come in with the scientific form of enzymes and atoms.
Yeah. I'm sharing with you the books. So the cult, I'm sharing with you the book.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am. I was sharing my page. Is it on the screen?
Yes, it's on the screen.
Yeah. Okay. So
no, you've taken it out again.
Yeah. Has it come back?
Yep.
Okay. Brother Carrington.
Not yet.
You've been asked to come in to. Brother Carrington, you've been asked to explain.
I sort of would want to know the precise question here, the thing that is getting us unstuck, because I've had a discussion
on your question.
Yeah.
Sister Ida. You
Hold
need
on,
to
sorry,
unmute
I've got to
yourself.
unmute. I've got to unmute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on a
And also,
different page.
just so you know, we
I'm
can see
showing
you. Yeah?
myself. Yes, hello.
Yeah. Just so you know. It's okay. So, Sister Anna,
Um,
what was the question?
My question was about things that change but are not destroyed. Enzymes change things, but the enzymes aren't destroyed. So the form that Brother
Enzymes
Coco,
enzymes
hold
are
on,
biology,
hold on,
isn't
you're
it?
confusing me. Hold on,
It's
hold
okay. I
on.
was sorry to say, Sister Ida, enzymes are biology rather than physics.
It's also chemistry
Chemistry,
of a form.
yes. Chemistry
Yeah,
is
but
biology.
chemistry isn't physics either.
Well, they're sciences, aren't they? They're all
It's okay.
sciences.
Carry on. Carry on. So,
Okay, so the
Brother
idea.
Carrington can come in.
Sorry, what was someone saying?
No, you finish your question so that Brother Carrington
Okay,
can
so
come in.
that the idea that ideas are a bit like changes of form of matter. That Brother Coco, I think, threw out, and I got that as an idea. That ideas might be changes of form in whether it's chemistry, biology, physics, but things don't actually get destroyed; they get changed, and people might catch on to one bit of a change that is different from maybe what other people see.
Brother
My
Carrington can come in and share whatever you want to share. Yeah.
So my understanding, I'll start with the thing that gets conserved in interactions or reactions. My understanding, and I'm not a biologist, so I'm stretching a little bit beyond my knowledge and abilities here. But to the best of my knowledge, enzymes can get destroyed. What enzymes do is catalyze reactions, and within specific ranges of temperature, they can accelerate or reduce certain reactions. This is why enzymes are important in the body for regulating things. They can accelerate or slow down depending on their concentration. But beyond certain ranges of temperatures, these enzymes get denatured or frozen and inactive. And therefore, at high temperatures, they can get destroyed. Now, back to physics, it is considered a law of physics, or a principle, but I would sort of understand it as a model that you need to use to make physics work, called the law of conservation of energy. The simple idea of this law, very, very similar actually to what Thales is talking about here, is that the total energy of the universe is the same, remains the same throughout time. What changes is various forms of energy. And matter is a manifestation of energy. Whatever you think, water is a manifestation of energy, a configuration of energy. That the fundamental thing here is energy, which is changing form. And therefore, it cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. It is conserved. Just to confuse the issue a little bit, I have opinions about where ideas come from, and it is related to what.
But before you share that, don't go. Before you share that,
before I confuse people.
Before you share that, our contention, that's the materialist contention, is that energy is matter.
Which is entirely supported by the special theory of relativity. E is equals to mc squared. That energy and matter are forms of the same thing.
Same thing.
So for roughly 80 years of modern physics, this is taken to be a starting point of all of modern physics. The special theory of the relativity, the general theory of relativity, quantum mechanics, that energy and matter are forms of the same thing. Now, there are physicists who call this fundamental thing matter. There are physicists who call this fundamental thing energy, but it is the thing. Yeah.
Okay, go on now to your
okay. Our brain, from biology, its job is to process signals, okay, from the environment. These signals from the environment can be processed in a new way in two modes. One mode of processing signals in a new way is to change, to combine two different ideas from the environment to create a new idea. This is what philosophers call synthesis, right? So you can combine an idea from, I don't know, Marxism and capitalism to come up with your own strange system of Marxo-capitalism, or whatever you want to call it, or market capitalism, as the Chinese have done. Synthesis. So combining old ideas to build new ideas. There's another more interesting form of idea generation in which you have multiple objects in your mind, in your mind's eye, and then you reorganize entirely the system with which you use to organize and explain these objects. This is what we call creative. So somebody has listened to a guitar. This is just a hypothetical option. Somebody using the guitar, using their thumbs, and then they start asking themselves, what if I reorganize completely the music? What if I add an African drum? What if I do this? What if I do this? And these combinations, these reorganizations are what we primarily associate with deep creativity. Now, there are things called societal motifs, or you can call them things that are the basis, the implicit basis of any society. Societies tend to have these ideas behind them. For example, during the Industrial Revolution, a lot of the basis of healthcare was based on the idea that the human body is a machine. This is where these ideas come from: blood pressure, temperature. I have a lot of pressure in my mind. I need to relieve that pressure. Where did these weird ideas in the English language come from? They came from factories and steam engines. Right now, our motif is what? You can guess. Our motif is digital information. So we are even reorganizing physics right now. We are saying physics does not understand information properly. So we are trying in physics to come up with mathematical equations which describe the evolution, not just of matter, but of information, of configurations of matter. Because why? The society is being governed by this principle of information, and it's seeping into our philosophy, it's seeping into our politics, our economics, our religion. How many times have you gone to church? How many times have you logged into Facebook? It's seeping into everything, our need for information. So the Ionians had the motif of water, and they used it to construct their ideas, to synthesize and to generate, to reorganize their understanding of the world. Thank you.
So hold on. So what's your answer? Where do our ideas come from?
Ideas come from combinations of signals in our heads. Yeah, combinations of other ideas in our heads, and the fundamental ideas come from environment.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I think my question is, you use the word social motif. Yeah. So the ideas in our heads that are coming from digitalization. So where are the ideas coming from? So if the ideas are in our heads, where are they coming from? How did they get into our head?
From the environment.
I think he said
we developed in an environment. So remember that, sorry, Aida, we live in a society. Mm-hmm. We are the product of that society. So the racist who attacked our meeting last week, right? Yes, you can say he's an evil man, whatever, but he is developing he has developed his ideas or she has developed her ideas in 21st century Britain. And therefore, the social conditions of 21st century Britain will determine the ideas in this person's head.
So ideas come from the environment.
Yes.
Thank you.
Our processing of the environment, yes.
Okay. So, Sister Shireen, you've heard a lot. You've listened a lot. I know you went and came back. What can you add to all that we've been discussing?
I would actually, well, I thought I'd be adding to the other part really, but
Yeah, I'm happy to.
obviously
If you
we've
want
moved
to,
on.
no, we
Sorry?
haven't moved on. I was going to ask us to read the next paragraph, but I'm happy to go back to the previous two paragraphs we were reading, so that you can contribute. So let me re-highlight those. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
So here we go. These are the two. Can you see them?
Yes, that's the
Oh,
one.
yeah.
To be honest with you, I find Greek mythology and also like the Roman, like studying the Roman Empire quite. There's a lot to it. So for me, because it seems so ancient, even though it in some way or other it isn't, you know, I kind of get kind of a bit overwhelmed when I'm talking about in this case and with Thales, because I looked up crypto theocratic manifestations, and that they are the people who make the decisions from behind. So they make the decisions, but we don't see them. Is that correct?
Yeah, partly also crypto in the sense that so the word crypto is hidden.
Hidden. That's it.
That's hidden. Yeah.
Right.
Kind of mystical, as Brother DJP was saying earlier.
Yeah, because I was in and out because yeah, I got tripped out and stuff like that. So
so just so you, Sister Shireen, so crypt. I mean, something is crypt. It means that it is it's coded.
Yes.
Kind of coded,
Cryptic.
and because it's coded,
Cryptic.
you can't just understand it. It's kind of hidden. Yeah, its meaning is hidden. Yes.
Right. So if everything is, I wouldn't say everything's confusing, but if there is a like in his first revolution where he kind of he pushed aside the hidden messages or the hidden leaders, for example, and the theocratic manifestations of the Greek society. Hold on a second. It says in destroying the gods as explanatory devices and neutralize them. So instead of having like this whole kind of mysticism of people kind of, what's happened? Am I still here?
Yeah, we lost you, Han. We can't hear
this
you. Your
mysticism,
internet is
which
a bit
kind
dodgy.
of where people always think outside of themselves.
Yeah, we lost you, Han. We lost you. If you could repeat what you just said, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Sorry. Sorry if I sound a bit sketchy as well. I've got hay fever. So I was saying, like, where he kind of destroyed that mysticism. What is it? Conversations I've had with the priest. I think we spoke about it last week. But all of these allegorical kind of stories, and stories that are kind of they're not real, but it's a kind of a God in the sky type of a fear that is put on people. Let me say, destroy the gods and explanatory society. He neutralizes them. He kind of brings forth man as a realization of who they are in one way or another. And by doing so, it undermines the social effectiveness of the aristocratic priesthood. And as we were talking about last week, where, for example, if you have some people who live in fear all the time, so that headmaster is somebody who is so authoritative the prime minister is someone who's so authoritative and powerful. It's like in some way or other you can kind of treat them as a kind of a god per se, but when you actually start to realize that these people are people, then there is a change of the way that we have an approach to their existence. I don't know if anyone follows what I'm saying there.
Yes, yes. So
Okay. So then in the second revolution, where you were talking about water, and I was in on that discussion, but then I got lost for a little while. I think because they wanted to master the seas, in terms of the, I don't want to say the kind of merchant expansion that they could have through business and through challenging themselves to beyond their kind of their own shores. I think he kind of had to bring in that what's it called, for it to be, for them to be dependent, or that for them to be masters of the sea, they had to kind of become the sea in some way, and by doing so they were able to then become the highest producers of, or the defenders of their culture on the Mediterranean Sea, and also for the trade that Thales was trying to birth them into, or for them to become. Does that make sense?
yes, it does.
Maybe not.
Yes, it does. Yeah. Have you finished? Finish what all that you want to
I
say?
think because we've moved on, I think so.
No, we haven't moved on. We are still on the same thing. So what would you say then, based on what your brother Carrington also shared earlier, what would you say is the source of ideas? Where do our ideas come from, basically?
I'll be cliche and say the downloads from the universe.
Yeah, can you be more? Can you
I'll
say it
be
in a different way?
cliche in saying that. But our ideas are birthed, I believe, from a spark. So we always need a spark of energy for ideas to come, but it's an unconscious spark.
Okay, where does the spark start?
The spark starts internally.
Well, when the baby is conceived or before?
Before. So
So
our ancestors, like, so when we talk about, and I had this conversation today, is like, so there are so many different schools of thought as to how life begins, and from my teaching,
so Shireen, go back to the beginning of our ancestors. Where did their ideas come from?
Those who came before.
No, I'm saying go back to the beginning.
Yes.
Our first ancestors, where did they get their ideas from? Or where do you think they got the ideas from?
This is the unknowing question or answer for me, but I think there is a energetic, there's an energetic force, an unreckoning energetic force that allows.
Okay, can I put the question differently?
Yes.
Before the first ancestors arrived,
yes,
was there not a planet?
Sorry?
Before the first ancestors arrived,
yes,
where did they arrive at? Where do you think they arrived at?
Well, this is what this is where the term matter comes into play. Like, we keep on saying, like, what is matter? Where does matter come from? And this is the enigma. But there is an answer, because we wouldn't be here.
Hold on. Let's just stick to our ancestors for now, yeah? So, so is it fair to say that
Yes.
our ancestors arrived on this planet, that there was a planet called Earth before our ancestors arrived? That our ancestors couldn't have arrived before the planet was here. Is that fair?
This is the thing.
I'm
Who
asking you.
knows? When you put it like that, there must have been something before.
So that's what I'm saying. Is it fair to say that before our ancestors arrived, there was an Earth, a planet that they arrived on?
Yeah, they
Or
arrived.
arrived
So
out
there
of?
was an existence before Earth. There must
Sorry?
have been an existence. There must have been an existence before Earth. The way,
Yes. So when our ancestors arrived on the Earth, was there already
yeah,
an Earth?
yes,
Okay. So did they come to the Earth with the ideas, or they found the ideas on Earth?
they would have come to Earth with ideas.
Okay.
Because I understand what the brother was saying about the social environment and how due to the social environment, it's like when like you had like the soldiers in World War One coming from hot climates and having to go to Nova Scotia, like the most northern part of Canada, or even like cold the coldness of Europe. And they had to adapt, or even like the African circumventing the earth had to adapt to different environments and different temperatures, different biome, whatever it is. So
So are you saying that we were somewhere else before we came on the planet Earth?
I don't know what to say.
Okay, thank you very much. Hold your thoughts. We'll have further more of these discussions.
Yeah,
Brothers and sisters, the time is 9:15. We are
wow.
coming out towards the end of our session for today. What I like to do at this point is to open the floor for anyone to share any ideas that they have. Instead of us do any more reading, we can read if we want, but I just want to be the floor so we can have a chat amongst ourselves. Thank you. So feel free to unmute and share any ideas you have with us. If not, if you can't, then we'll just do some more reading, if that's okay, also with us. Yeah.
I think that some ideas come from observation, and observation changes things. You know, it makes people's ideas change. So even if it was primeval days and whatever, or if you go down into the sea, fish watch other fish, and they're their food, so they have to find a way to catch them and stuff like that. I think ideas, you say, where do ideas come from? I think it comes from watching and then seeing change. Like who was it who said about musicians trying this note or that note? And I think ideas are like that. You know, you look.
That was me.
Yeah. So thank you. So I think that even when it comes to growing things, you'll observe things grow different, and you might use those for a better harvest, stuff like that. So I think ideas are not. Some of them might be more not as, might be quicker, and others might be more gradual. That's what I think. Thank you.
Okay, so can I ask all of us? So, what has all that we've been reading got to do with Africa? What do you think it has to do with Africa? What do we think?
I presume it's about change, looking for change and ways to improve.
To improve what?
to improve the Africa we see now into a better Africa. Not that it has to come from outside, but it has to come from within. But the ideas may come from anywhere, and they might already be there, because it's a matter of developing ideas and strategies to make a better life for all. And I think, to be very honest, if we were to bring it down to what we see at the moment, dear Ibrahim Traoré, who seems to have this idea of, Europeans out, and then he's bringing in all sorts of ideas. So I think it's a matter of change, looking for change that comes from Africa, that is African, etc., to make a better world. So thank you.
Right. And Sister Joan, what do you think? How do you think what we've been reading, what has it got to do with Africa, do you think?
I think it's going to help us learn from what happened and improve from our experiences and from the experiences of our ancestors. And find better ways to improve and not to make the same mistake. I mean, for what happened, like colonization not to happen to us again, and to improve as Africa and to unite.
So what we've been reading, you see it relating to our unification, do you?
Yes, it does.
Can you explain how it does?
Like for example, this. Well, I think they forgot. They left what they used to do before, and they allowed someone from outside to interfere with what they did before. So so like Africa, I think we should try to understand what our ancestors did and go back to nature, because what is missing now is spirituality and nature. So like, for example, using what nature has provided, like free energy, water, to maybe conduct, how do I say it? Like we can grow economically using nature. We don't, so yeah, so maybe the missing aspect here is nature and understanding how we worked, and letting go of the system of capitalism. Then we can unite as Africa and improve and grow economically.
So will it be fair to say then that what we are reading is encouraging us to understand that we need a different philosophy from what you said, that we should let go capitalism and its tendencies and embrace, like you're saying, nature? So would you say that this paragraph or paragraphs we are reading is encouraging us, is telling us that is what we should do? Would you say that then?
Not really. Maybe we can figure out a better way to live, better than the system that is already existing, that will work for us. That also embraces that also like incorporates nature, because right now we are not really working together, like together with nature. Like we've left spirituality out of it. So maybe if we can find a way to like improve together, like working together with spirituality and nature, like how our ancestors did, then it might work out.
Okay. Thank you. Sister Shireen, what would you add to that? I'm coming back to you again.
Oh my goodness.
In
Well,
terms
I
of
was
what we've read and what you've heard and relating to Africa. What are your thoughts?
That for I think the same inverted commas ancient philosophy is being, I don't want to use the word regurgitated, but the same philosophy of the Greeks and the Romans is being used today in modern like geopolitical arenas. And they do say so actually. They do state that they, like democracy is from Rome. And some people, Socrates is Greek, and those type of school of thoughts that they kind of cling on to in some way or other is still effective today because they are still ruling. So in us being able to understand that thought and thinking will then allow us to evolve better ideas and open up channels for innovation, I think, or more innovative ways of surpassing this level that we
So,
are more awakening needs to happen.
Yeah, so if Thales didn't like the society he was living in and thought that he should overthrow the theocracy and came out with an alternative philosophy based on water.
And the theocracy being, have you frozen or have I frozen?
Sorry, am I frozen?
Hello?
No, you're not frozen.
I can hear you both. I can hear you both.
Yeah.
Everything seems fine.
Thank you. Sister Shirley, you're not frozen. So what I'm saying, if Thales then came up with a new philosophy in order to overthrow the theocracy, and we have neo-colonialism, do you not think, Sister Shireen, that what we can learn from these two paragraphs is that we should find a way, we need a new philosophy that will help us to overthrow neo-colonialism?
Yes, Brother Kwame. I did.
Agreed.
I lost you for a little while.
Yeah, it does happen.
For a couple of seconds. But of course, and this is why, in order for people to get ahead, they'll cause chaos, drama. They'll put things on pause. Well, and when I say they, I'm not talking about something in the sky. I'm talking about just
the powers that be.
And I'll say the powers that be because they are
the so-called powers that be.
Yeah. So-called powers that be. Then so-called powers that be. So everything is in chaos while they're very organized, getting on, doing what they're doing, generating money and generating wealth, generating land 24 hours a day through clockwork without even having to do anything. I'm not saying that they don't fear, because there are always cycles in everything, and cycles do come to an end. However, I think that we don't think, which is why when challenged, sometimes we don't even have belief in what we're saying, because it's fearful to think. But if we adopt more critical thinking and we become more unified within that thinking and thought and trust more within those who have innovative thoughts, I think trust is very, very important. I think that we will progress, but then we must trust, because thinking is and ideas, there are many ways to get to a destination, but which way will ensure that the majority get there in one piece?
And we want to get them in one piece. Excellent. So that Brother Coco come in here and share his thoughts on
Thank
what
you.
we Thank you. What we are discussing. The time is 3 minutes to 9. So, and we will finish at 9. Yeah, Brother
Yes.
Coco.
Thank you very much. I can see what you're doing with the ladies here.
I mean,
So
an
that it's called empowerment.
important part of the army. Without them,
Yes.
I don't think we can win this war.
No, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, in my language we say Mosadi Otwara Tipaka Wahale, which means the woman holds the knife in its sharp end. You know, when the knife is really sharp, that's where the woman will go, especially when it's facing her kids, is facing her family, is facing those she loves. Because with love, then there comes that passion. And if we don't empower the women, then we are not going anywhere. We haven't started.
Absolutely.
So
100% agree.
So just to go back to the question you asked earlier, you said, okay, so Thales a long time ago expunged or sort of overthrew the idea of aristocracy, aristocratic priests. But we brought it back as Africans. We are still saying, with God's grace, everything else, God this, God that. So here is what puzzled Dr. Nkuma as well, I guess. He has seen this a long time ago. He has studied philosophy in school and has seen the Greeks successfully overthrow this, but it came back. And then again, let me just remind all of you here, the full name of this book is Conscientism, Philosophy for Decoloniality or Decolonization of Africa. It's for decolonization. Right? And when was this book written? 1964. At that time, Ghana was already an independent country, but he still needed to write this book because he saw what was happening. And the next year, in 1965, he wrote Neocolonialism. He saw that this was happening. The Africans were clinging to the gods. The Europeans were holding on to the resources. They were holding on to the materials. And that is what I like to stop. Hopefully it gives food for thought for people.
Yeah, thank you, Brother Coco. So the full title, as you were telling us, is Philosophy and Ideology for Decolonization, with particular reference to the African Revolution. Thank you very much, Coco, for bringing us to a nice end. And that's where we'll end it, brothers and sisters. Thank you all for coming. Brother Kwame Gonza, sorry, we were just finishing just as you arrived. Thank you, Sister Shireen. Thank you, Brother Coco, once again. Thank you, Sister Joan Kimani. Thank you, Brother DJ, Mr. P. Thank you, Sister Ida. Thank you, resident physicist, Brother Carrington, and thank myself. Thank you all for coming. Have a wonderful week. By the way, we are meeting on Saturday where we shall discuss taking back ownership of the Africa habitat. We shall have a brother called Brother Lecho, a brother from Uganda who is going to be sharing his perspective with us. It will be a conversation around the unification of Africa as our Saturdays are. So if you can, please join us on Saturday, same time, 7 to 9 GMT. Thank you all for coming, and hopefully we shall see you all on Saturday. Thank you.